Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the Indiana State Police Roadshow. I'm your host, Sergeant John Prine, the Public Information Officer for the Indiana State Police Indianapolis District. The Roadshow is brought to you by the State Police Alliance and Cops for Kids, a subsidiary of the State Police Alliance. For more information, visit them at www.indianasfinest.com. Certainly appreciate our partners here at MS Communication Network Indiana and Eddie for getting us on the radio across the state. Hopefully you're listening to us on the radio, but if not, you're watching us on YouTube, and that is thanks to our great friend, Tom Trial. If you know anything about the Indianapolis media market, you know the name Tom Trial because he's a legend in this area. So certainly appreciate all his work for us, making our state police history, make sure that it sticks around for a long time.
Absolutely.
So, documentation. My guest today, two guys that you see often on the show because they have a lot to say and they're really, really smart. Certainly appreciate Sergeant Scott Keegan, PIO from the Pendleton District.
Hello. I don't know if I go about the smart thing, but
yeah. And also Captain Ron Galavis, Chief PIO for the State Police out of headquarters.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I cannot believe that we're almost halfway through the summer, more than halfway through the summer, and it's already time to start thinking about going back to school. I mean, I thought summers flew by when I was a kid, but now that I'm an adult with my own kids, it seems like summer just started
faster, don't they?
And here we are getting ready to start school shopping and talking about schedules and my goodness. But with that coming back to school comes a lot of changes in routines. First is those school zones. Mm-hmm. They get busy. They're going to start getting busy here. The end of July, beginning of August. Yep. A lot of things change. If you drive through those school zones every day, it's time to start changing the way you do that.
Yep, absolutely. And that even starts with, your the first thing getting out of bed. I know as a parent, I always, I got to get up 30 minutes earlier, maybe 45 minutes earlier, make sure everybody's up and around before I can even start getting myself going for the day. So, if that's what it takes to get your day going so that you're not rushing around and then ultimately rushing through a school zone, putting other people in danger, then that's what you have to do. And we're not, on the side of the road when we've stopped people and I'm running late, that's not really our job to dictate their time management, but it's a simple recommendation, and again, we don't want to see anybody get hurt because again, those school zones are going to be patrolled, especially early in the school year to kind of help dictate some things to let people know that safety is a priority.
Yeah, and that's one of the big goals and priorities of the Indiana State Police is school safety, and ensuring that our most valuable commodities, our children, are protected. And that protection comes in a lot of different ways. But we know that they're going to be standing at the bus stops. They're going to be walking on the sidewalks close to school. So as a driver, you have a huge responsibility, but it's really time to eliminate those distractions, pay attention, because we know that those kids do kids do unthinkable things when they just run across the road because they see a friend that they hadn't seen.
Right. We used to one of the hospital systems in Fort Wayne had a little campaign every year. It was called Kids Dart Drive Smart. Yeah. And there were no truer words because kids will dart out from anywhere, from in between parked cars, just across the street and at the drop of a dime. So again, gotta.
And I think any of us, at some point in our lives, have been stuck behind a school bus. You get behind a bus and you're thinking, oh boy, you're going to be stopping every 2 or 3 minutes and it's going to take for a while. You know what? That's part of that planning. Yep. Leaving early. The last place you want to be if you're in a hurry is behind a school bus, but certainly you got to prioritize the safety of those kids on that bus getting on and off. And so when that stop arm comes out, it means stop, right? People often get confused of whether or not I should stop. So can you offer some tips on whether or not you have to stop for a school bus that has a stop arm out?
Well, not only that, but prior to the stop arm coming out, there's a flashing yellow to let you know we're getting ready to open this door and let kids out before that stop arm gets out. So it shouldn't be a surprise when the yellow lights come on that you should be preparing to stop. Again, I don't know what you're kind of gearing towards here, but
so when you're on a road, if it's a 2-lane road, undivided road, and you're behind the bus, stop arm comes out, you have to stop.
You have to stop, correct.
If you're approaching the bus from the other direction,
you also have to stop.
If you're on a 4-lane road that doesn't have a physical barrier between it, no sidewalk, median, cable, wall, you have to stop.
Yes.
Yep.
If you're on a 6-lane road, I don't know of any, but if you are, and there's no physical barrier, what I mean is I want you guys all to picture a road that has like 2 lanes each direction, and the middle lane is a turn lane for either direction. You have to stop for a bus in any direction on that road. Now, I do know that school transportation directors, I can't think of any that I've ever had to have kids crossing 4 lanes of traffic. They'll design those routes so that the kids are on the correct side of the road, but you still have to stop. The only time you don't have to stop for a school bus in the other direction is if there's a physical divided grass median, concrete median. But here's what I tell people, and it may be ridiculous, but it doesn't matter. If you're ever in doubt, if you're coming up to a school bus and you see flashing lights of any type, and you're like, gosh, I don't know if I should stop or not, you stop.
Stop.
If you're ever in doubt, if you're ever wondering whether or not you should stop, err on the side of caution and stop. What about if the bus is here, but I'm on a road here getting ready to turn, and I see that bus is loading or unloading? What do you think? Should you stay there until they're
I'd recommend staying there.
Yeah.
And again, those bus drivers are trained. They'll try to give you some cues on whether they want you to go or not beforehand. So you can always watch them.
And one thing, too, is eye contact with the bus driver. If you're coming that other direction and they have their lights out, go ahead and acknowledge that you see that, because they're not going to let those kids off until they know you're completely stopped.
Right. I always tell people, just drive as if those are your kids getting on and off that bus, or somebody that you know and love.
Yeah. Because we know that unfortunately we do see those accidents where people aren't paying attention or they're getting impatient. They want to get around that bus so fast, but just not worth it.
Or not even that, even the near misses. People going around a bus that nearly miss hitting the kids crossing.
And there are ramifications for that. Passing a school bus with a stop arm extended is considered reckless driving and is punishable with misdemeanor fines and jail time. Also, I've seen a lot of success recently with getting successful prosecution from school bus cameras, where they'll get a plate number, a video or a picture of the car running the plate, and that is prosecuted, and there's penalty for that.
You know, and I think just like anywhere in our society today, where there are cameras because you see them on the news, all the camera footage, Ring doorbell. The buses are no different. We're starting to see more and more of that video activity. So, but again, you shouldn't have to be worried about, am I going to get caught on video? It's the law.
Yeah.
It's the law. All we're asking is voluntary compliance of what that law says.
Well, and so then we also touched on school zones early on, and people often think, well, this speed is reduced down to 20 or 25 miles an hour, but it doesn't make sense because the school is 200 yards off the road here. It's not just about the chance of a kid on school property walking out. School zones get congested. Parents, buses, people, things change quickly. And so if you're in that school zone, it's important to abide by that speed, not just because you're afraid a kid's going to run out. That's obviously one of them, but people pull out, people stop traffic. I know anybody that has a kid that's done a drop-off or a pickup line, that line seems like it's 2 miles long sometimes.
Yep, absolutely. So, and again, a lot of those, at least a couple that I can think of, it's slow. It's that lower speed for the entirety of the school day. Sometimes it'll be from 7:30 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So again, I think Scott hit the nail on the head when he said it should not be a surprise come the first day of school.
Yeah. And it's hard to believe we're talking about the first day of school, but it is right around the corner. So it's time to change those routines. You're going to have to leave for work a little bit earlier than you had been. Just there's going to be more traffic. There's going to be pedestrian traffic, school buses, all the things. So before we transition into something else, anything else on school safety you guys want to bring up here as we start the school? It's always a big topic.
Just be patient, and kindness goes a long way. I mean, we tend to get into some road rage incidences also from the drop-off line and people getting stuck behind school buses. So just be kind and be patient.
So as we talk about priority of school safety and patrolling those school zones and being present at those schools and just doing our very best, it's a good opportunity for us to ask for people to join that want to do their very best. We need troopers. We need people to apply to be an Indiana State Trooper, and certainly recruiting right now is a priority for us as we have good veteran troopers that are nearing the end of their careers. It's time to start filling in those spots that they're leaving. And so where can somebody go? If you know somebody that you think, I think that person would be a great Indiana State Trooper, or maybe it's you. Maybe you are thinking, I've thought about a career change, or I've thought about a career. where can they go to get some information?
They can go to our website. There's a couple different places. They can go to the state police website, in.gov/ISP, or the indianatrooper.com, which is a brand new website that is just dedicated to recruiting, and it'll have everything that you need to know about how our selection process goes, timelines, salary and benefits, responsibilities, and quite honestly, too, probably one of the best places to go is to your nearest state police post.
Yeah.
Go in and schedule a ride along. Schedule to come in and talk to a trooper, one of the public information officers. I mean, because anybody would be thrilled to sit down and talk to you and answer your questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we've all been in that position.
And we know there's a lot of questions.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
I remember all the things that I wanted to know. And so if you're wondering what the qualifications are, they're all on that indianatrooper.com.
Yeah.
It tells you what you need. We don't require college education anymore. So if that's something that's been holding you up, then certainly if you're 21 years of age, you can get online and apply to be an Indiana State Trooper.
And quite honestly, you could be 20 years of age and apply as long as you're 21 before the date of graduation.
Or you can be 38.
That's right.
38 years. As long as you're not 40 when you graduate, you can.
So that's a pretty broad range, when we've, in your careers, I mean, you've been on long enough to know that you've seen people come from all different walks of life. We're always going to have our college graduates, our military veterans, but we've had people come from other industries.
Yeah.
And that's what makes us such a unique agency with a wide variety of expertises in so many different fields. So.
And that's one thing, I'm glad you bring that up, that people often ask, well, they always want to know, what's the difference between the Indiana State Police, the Sheriff's Department, the local police department? And I'll tell you this, we all have the same goals to do the same job, and that's to provide protection and service to our communities. That's it.
Right.
One thing that I can tell you about the Indiana State Police, that if you see it on TV, if any aspect of police work that you've ever seen in a movie or on TV, the Indiana State Police has it. Full-time SWAT team, scuba diving, aviation helicopters, detectives, special operations, special investigations, lab. You want to go into crime scene investigation. Right. We have all that. So, Scott, talk about, that's one of the unique things about the Indiana State Police is all the different things that you have the opportunity to do.
Yeah, we have different branches for these specialties. Personally, I was on the riot team, which is our civil disturbance team. I'm a crash reconstructionist. I am an instructor in 2 disciplines, firearm and defensive tactics. So it's kind of like the military. We're all troopers at the beginning, but then we can branch and specialize in other things. We have canine officers, so drug enforcement section. The list goes on and on.
Yeah, I mean, undercover officers. So if you have a desire to be a police, I mean, we've had a lot of people come in and say, hey, I want to be a detective. I want to go and I want to investigate these types of crimes. We probably have that.
The big buzzword right now is CSI. Like all the high school kids that I've spoken to, they want to do the CSI. We have those. And
they're sworn police officers.
They're sworn police officers, and they go and do that. So if that interests you, go to indianatrooper.com.
Yeah.
And the thing is, because we're so spread out, obviously we were spread out across 92 counties across this great state. So here in the metropolitan area of Indianapolis, if you like stopping cars, interacting with people, helping change flat tires, working crashes, this is the area for you. But then you get in some of the remote suburban areas where maybe the smaller law enforcement agencies need a little extra help, and you really want to start fine-tuning your investigatory skills. Those are the places to be, because again, it's not that we go take a report, slap it on a detective's desk, and walk away. We're tasked with investigating our own crimes. Now, of course, within that, there's going to be some technical crimes that are going to require additional assistance, or maybe even turning it over. But again, if you really want to hone those skills, getting out in some of these other districts is the place to be. So you can be a full-fledged police officer. You can and do, like Scott said, you can do whatever you want.
You can make your career whatever you want to make it, and that's the greatest thing. So for more information about becoming an Indiana State Trooper, if you know somebody, a neighbor, a cousin, a nephew, a niece, family member, your mom, your dad, whoever it may be, that you think would be a good police officer, a good Indiana State Trooper, go to indianatrooper.com. That's where all the information is. That's where you can apply. We are always accepting applications. That doesn't mean that we're starting an academy right away. We actually just started one this week, so our next academy would be the beginning of 2023. But the hiring process takes that long. So if you apply now, there's a lot of different aspects of that process between now and
if you want to be part of the solution to helping change your community for the better, here's your chance.
Yep. Hey, thank you everybody for tuning in. IndianaTrooper.com. We will talk to everybody next time.